The field. Every neighborhood has one. Grass, concrete, or dirt. The stage is the same. The rules, unwavering. And the goals, beautiful.
It goes in! Improbable scenes!
It's where the dream begins to achieve the ultimate victory.
The underdogs have prevailed once again!
One cup, open to all.
There is a celebration in Orlando.
Now, America's oldest soccer tournament is back.
Oh, it's incredible!
The field doesn't care if you're a pro or trying to be one. It only asks, how bad do you want it?
It's unbelievable!
The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
From MSU Soccer Park in Montclair, New Jersey to MLS rivals meet in the historic Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. It's the New York Red Bulls hosting DC United. Hello everyone, alongside Eric Dobransky, I'm Maura Sheridan. Thank you so much for joining us. And for the Red Bulls, they made it to the semifinals last year. They're trying to secure their first Open Cup victory, or win.
And I think for...
Shoot, I'm sorry. That was my bad, I meant trophy, but I said win.
I'm fine doing it live. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Trophy.
The field. Every neighborhood has one. Grass, concrete, or dirt. The stage is the same. The rules, unwavering. And the goals, beautiful.
It goes in! Improbable scenes!
It's where the dream begins to achieve the ultimate victory.
The underdogs have prevailed once again!
One cup, open to all.
There is a celebration in Orlando.
Now, America's oldest soccer tournament is back.
Oh, it's incredible!
The field doesn't care if you're a pro or trying to be one. It only asks, how bad do you want it?
It's unbelievable!
The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
From MSU Soccer Park in Montclair, New Jersey to MLS rivals meet in the historic Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. It's the New York Red Bulls hosting DC United. Hello, everyone. Alongside Eric Dobransky, I'm Maura Sheridan. And for the Red Bulls, they're entering the tournament now. They went to the semis last year, but they've never won that trophy here in the Open Cup.
And for a team that is winless in the last 7 matches, this could be a welcome game. I know it's a short turnaround, but for the recent success they've had in the Open Cup, this could be really a game that pushes them in the right direction.
Well, that's the story for the Red Bulls today. Gerhard Struber is out. They parted ways with him on Monday, and so Troy Lesesne, the new head coach, and that's a quick turnaround for him.
And it is a quick turnaround, but Troy Lesesne is somebody that is no stranger to the Open Cup. As a player with the Charleston Battery in 2006, advanced to the 4th round. As a coach for New Mexico United in 2019, they lost in the quarterfinals, so experience advancing through this tournament.
Well, DC United having a much better regular season than the Red Bulls, but they've also won the Open Cup 3 times. They're looking to get back to that.
And it's another club with significant experience within the Open Cup. And for DC, it's a bit of a revenge matchup as Red Bulls knocked them out of the round of 32 last season with a 3-0 result at Audi Field.
Well, DC United already played in the Open Cup this year. 3rd round, beat Richmond, and Yamil Asad was the hero.
Goals change games, and this is a player that's playing in that wide area that I believe will be an area that provides crucial matchups as they develop, and he's going to look to influence this match just as he did in their match against Richmond.
Here are the starting 11s for both sides. What can we expect?
I think anytime you're playing a tournament-style format, 1-game elimination, and then especially with so many lineup changes, the midfield's so important because they've got to be flexible, they've got to be adaptable, they've got to start to read the rhythm and tempo of the matchup. So I think Durkin, Hopkins for DC United, Fernandez and Caceres for New York Red Bulls.
Well, we are underway here from New Jersey. Again, Red Bulls and DC United. Eric Dobransky, Maura Sheridan. DC United in white, Red Bulls in red. Technically, this is a home game for the Red Bulls, but they're not playing at Red Bull Arena. They're playing here in Montclair, New Jersey. Of course, the round of 32. This is where a lot of MLS teams have entered the fold in the 3rd round or this round.
And we talked about the difficult situation for Troy Lesesne and this club. Coach Lesesne's been a part of this organization for over a year now, so he knows his players, he knows the systems, he knows the organization. So the challenge is really looking at some of the changes that might need to be made throughout a match. Every match has a story of its own.
Well, Stroud drew the foul there off to Harper. Yeah, it must be difficult for Lesesne. Again, just a whirlwind of a day. It's never the circumstance, which he said in the press conference, that you want to be named as a head coach of an MLS team with the person that hired you being, let go. And so there's complications there, and then now you got to play this Open Cup. The only good thing was they didn't have to travel for this.
Exactly, and obviously Troy Lesesne extremely grateful for the opportunity that Gerhard Struber gave him in hiring him and bringing him on the staff. But really, looking forward to this match. And I think talking to the coaches leading up to it, it was already difficult in the time frame of playing a Saturday matchup, playing Tuesday, and then also looking at a regular season fixture on Saturday as well. Now you add the coaching change yesterday. So we asked him about what his first steps were, maybe letting the organization and the team know about him, and he made it very clear it wasn't about him. It was about setting the direction, and really from the leadership standpoint, and really guiding the players through this transition as well.
Well, Fernandez will reset here for Red Bulls. Stroud back and forth. Again, a team that has 1 win in the regular season right now. They have not won a game in their last 7. And so while this doesn't count for that, it's important. Barlow making a move here in the box. Light shot, ricochets around, and it's going to be stopped there by Bono. And net here for DC United, the backup keeper for this side. And look, he has a ton of experience across the MLS. He played many years at Toronto FC, and this is his first year with DC United as the starter. Of course, got a shutout in that last Open Cup game against the Richmond Kickers. A little bit of a tight game, all things considered, and that's a USL League One team. Final score was 1-0, and Bono had to make an incredible PK save.
Yeah, there's so many various elements that play such important roles in knockout games like this, that goalkeeping is huge, whether it's on set pieces, free kicks, corners, penalty kicks, guiding a team into making some of those defensive adjustments, because again, with the lack of familiarity sometimes that you have with the system of play or the players entering the match and different ideas, those scenarios and those roles are so important. So to have a keeper with that kind of experience guiding a group of 11 is so important. But I think going back to New York Red Bulls and their recent form, a part of it, and for Troy Lesane and his coaching staff, this is a team that sits near the bottom in goals for in the MLS right now with 7. So that's something that they're going to want to continue to develop and grow, is their ability to create chances and execute in that final third.
Yeah, 7 goals in 11 games, and defensively they haven't been a nightmare. When you look at their numbers, they've allowed 11 goals, which is actually one of the better marks in the MLS. It's just scoring that's been the problem. Whereas, you know, for DC United, they're squarely even, 15 goals allowed, 15 goals scored, and they're in 8th place right now. So it's just a matter of putting the pieces together here for Red Bulls. But it's been a bumpy start on and off the field, and, you know, hoping to turn a new leaf. And it might start here with this, you know, maybe a confidence builder against DC United.
Yeah, and I think as much as maybe we talk about the quick turnaround, I think this is a welcomed matchup for New York Red Bulls, because as you mentioned, not having to travel really. I mean, obviously not playing at their typical home stadium, and then with the coaching change, with the recent success, the semifinals last year, I think this is a group and an organization that's really excited to get this tournament underway.
Well, there's Lesane. Red Bulls looking to go to work, and there's a foul. Good spot for a free kick on the way. We've got 2 players down, though, for New York. Harper's down, a little bit slow to get up.
And this has been good from New York Red Bulls to start. They're playing on the front foot. They're very active, urgent in the final third. Now you have to sustain that. And this is something that, especially early on in these matchups, free kicks, how you defend them, how you attack them, so crucial. What's your approach? Do you look to go short initially to see if you can move some and manipulate space, move some defenders?
It's going to be the captain, Caceres Jr., the one to take this. Just saw Tolkien move off the ball. This one curled up, back post, and it's headed wide. No clean look there for New York. they've definitely been the aggressors here early.
And really good service there by Caceres. 2 good runs. Set pieces are always about initial contact, and there DC United guiding it away from frame there, but good start for New York Red Bulls.
Well, Caceres, a very experienced player. 6th season with the Red Bulls, big part of that Venezuelan national team as well. Joined that team in 2020, and then last year was named 2022 Player of the Year in Venezuela. So in terms of what Lissane's looking for, I'm sure he's happy to have someone like that in the midfield.
Yeah, and especially the way that this team really enjoys to press and their commitment to the press. And I think that's for DC United. It's going to be something they're going to have to work through throughout the matches. What areas become available when you have 1, 2, 3 lines of pressure coming at you at once. And I think that's where New York Red Bulls has to see if they can sustain some of the success that they're finding right now, winning the ball higher up the field, creating some opportunities where their numbers up.
Well, we're seeing this a little bit early play out, but DC United also is 2nd in the MLS in fouls committed. They've committed a lot of fouls early in this contest, and then on the flip side, for the Red Bulls, they tend to draw a lot of fouls, so that might be something that proves important in this game, or it could just be a meaningless stat I pull out.
Well, I think the one for Red Bulls, it does showcase the creativity that you can get 1 versus 1, and in those isolated moments, you know, maybe does showcase sometimes where you can release the ball a little sooner as well. But for a team that's looking to score some more goals.
Well, here's a chance for the Red Bulls. Denied. Bono says no.
And that's a tremendous early save by Bono. His team really trying to get a footing in this matchup.
Harper up that touchline, pushed out.
And anytime you have a team that enjoys pressing like Red Bulls do, it's worrisome when you turn the ball over 35, 40 yards away from frame, because the numbers are there, because they're already pressing you with numbers, so that those initial 1, 2, 3 passes can become very, very dangerous because you're expansive, because you're in possession. You turn the ball over, and players for New York Red Bulls are in prime position to go to goal. And you saw it in that sequence.
Stroud blazing forward. Oh, give and go. Caceres can't handle. Turned and not totally cleared, though, for DC United. Right back at it. It's Barlow this time. Looks for a cross, and we're going to get a corner here. Well, it looks like we'll just get a throw in right into the box towards a 6 and cleared out here for DC United. See if they can make something of this, any transition chances, but it's slowed. Chipped forward, opportunity. Fletcher waits for it. Makes a move, pushed out and muscled away. No call there.
And for DC United, typically when you do play against a higher press, it does take about 15, 20 minutes to start sorting it out, finding available areas. That usually does mean that you're going to find a direct ball here and there, and you saw that one over to Fletcher.
Well, the inclination is to think, well, they're 2 MLS sides. They should know each other pretty well, especially they're both in the East, but the personnel is not the same that you would see in a starting lineup in a regular season game. You know, there's a bunch of players in different positions and players that don't see a ton of minutes getting chances today, and so there's a feeling out process for sure. Here's a takeaway, could be dangerous. Poked in the box and nobody home.
And that's where club identity and organizational identity is so important, because that identity goes from the typical 11 if you're playing in the regular season to those throughout the organization and the roster. So we see this ball played in. Just out for a goal kick.
Again, the round of 32, there's 8 games going on today, including this one, and then there's more games tomorrow as well, as we will shrink down to 16 here in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. DC United wide again. Hopkins scored the last time they played in an Open Cup game and gives it away. Actually, misspoke there. That was Tolkien who scored in the Open Cup game for the Red Bulls. And Hopkins is a nice part of this roster for DC United. They were shut out by the Red Bulls. That's why that statement made no sense. Again, all the way to the semifinals for New York last year, looking to get back there. On the wing. Cross put on, and just a slip there. Caceres is high. Boy, Yearwood just fell. He was open.
Yeah, and you have to like the rhythm and tempo and the urgency that Red Bulls have really found here in the first 15 minutes or so. This ball comes across and just seems to maybe sneak up on Caceres there. Whenever that ball is coming with a bit of pace, obviously it was bouncing a bit, but you're really just looking to guide it and place it. Put that well over the crossbar, really not putting Bono in a position where he's got to make a save. And I know there was a lot of traffic in front, but there was an opportunity there. But again, Troy Lesane has to be pleased with the way his club's playing right now. But you want to see this sustained, because this pressure, it requires collective pressure throughout a 45 minutes, and that becomes a 90 minutes. Once you start seeing some of the separation and maybe units separating in that press, it becomes easier for teams to play through the lines. And
oh, there's a foul, but DC United just struggling to put together a couple of passes in a row and really, like you said, clear that press.
And that's where that identity steps in as well, because a lot of the clubs, you want to keep the ball, you want to see the ball, but sometimes it does require a long ball like this from Bono to really stretch New York Red Bulls and really make them be honest through the back where they can leave space available behind.
Caceres reaching for it, but it's snapped back to Bono.
Shift here, Dre. Shift here, Dre. Good. Shift here. Come on. Come on. Good man again.
Physical play, no whistle. Shifty by Fletcher there. Tapped around and backwards now for DC United. On the move, push to the wing. And too far ahead. Durkin's pass just off the mark there. Well, fans, dive deeper into the thrills and drama of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Join the conversation on Twitter and Instagram at Open Cup and on Facebook at Official Open Cup. Good crowd tonight, considering this isn't at the typical arena in which the Red Bulls would play, but they've got their supporters in tow and obviously loud and proud here in Montclair, New Jersey.
Yeah, and an organization that is 11-1-2 at home in Open Cup games.
Here's a good opportunity. Fernandez just slow roller there to Bono. Fletcher. And DC United will switch fields here. Big boot from Bono. Off the head of Tolkien. Lands for Stroud.
You can see it early on. Fletcher dropping back deep, trying to get involved, get on the ball for DC United. But in those transition moments, you almost saw there with the ball played in from Bono was Hurtado and Asad open on that right flank. And I think that's where, as this game develops, those wide areas are going to be really important for both teams.
Asad, again, game winner against Richmond on a penalty that he buried. Hopkins floating forward. Fletcher taps it back. Asad again. Asad's a player that's used in more of a reserve role on that first team roster. Heinzike goes back to Bono. Asad again, possessing here, but bounces off a defender, and Red Bulls can go the other way. Barlow gets pushed, and we'll get a whistle there. Up the middle. Now moved left. Fernandez, Yearwood. Another opportunity, and this pass to no one. It's going to end up being a corner kick off a defender there for Yearwood.
Right now, Red Bulls able to play through the seams of DC United, really only taking three or four passes to connect to the final third. And Yearwood's been very active on that left side.
Short pass here. Back to Caceres. Tolkien's up. Has time to fire, and that one over everyone's head.
I think early set pieces can be so valuable to teams in a tournament format, especially when you're not overly familiar with how the other team's setting up on those free kicks. So when you can get early looks, you can start making those adjustments, and that's why you tend to see teams mix in playing short, playing direct.
Caceres slices back, dumps it off for Yearwood. Here's another pass, a chance for Barlow, and it's stopped by Bono. Excuse me, Edelman with that chance for the Red Bulls. But regardless, no goal there. Bono able to get in front of that one. Fletcher the other way, leading pass. Here's an opportunity, and Tolkien's there.
That was about to be a cruel sequence for New York Red Bulls right there. Tremendous link-up play throughout here in the final third, and just miss-hit by Yearwood there. And then Barlow on the follow-up, the block. But again, good numbers. They've created two really good opportunities. Obviously, the opportunity from Caceres that sailed over the crossbar. But the chance there by Barlow, seemed like it got caught under his foot just a bit. He couldn't release it as quick as he would have liked. And then DC United were off and running the other way.
That's the first time we've really mentioned Ryan Mera, the keeper for the Red Bulls. This is Open Cup appearance number 16 for him. So that's the most of anyone in club history. Bono on the flip side, he's had some work to do. It's two big stops for him, opening 20 minutes. Caceres from Harper. Turns on the Jets. Barlow's cutting through, looking for Yearwood, and it's broken up.
Yeah, and this is going to sound obvious, but all these matches, whether it's regular season tournament format, they're all games that are determined and predicated on game-changing plays, game-changing moments. Who scores the goal? Who makes the save? I mean, how many times do you go back to a big save and your team goes in to win 1-0 or 2-1 or those tight matchups? And as you mentioned, Bono called into action quite a few times here in the opening 23 minutes. And he's answered the call.
Giveaway. Edelman has some time. Dishes it off. Caceres. Left-footed strike is wide.
Right now, the turnovers for DC United are really leading to their demise. And very fortunate still to be at 1-0, obviously, or 0-0, because we mentioned the work from Bono. There are some other chances just such as that Caceres, you could see his disappointment. He would like that back and believes he could do better.
Well, again, you see Lesane. In some sense, it's probably good to just play after all of the challenges that they've had. Fernandez floating towards the top of the box. Edelman took a knock there. Tolkien on the attack again here for Red Bulls. Fernandez turns. Nobody there right at the 18. Got a little tripped up and lightly tapped out here for DC United. Again, just struggling to get it out of their own end at the moment. Switching the point of attack might be helpful.
And they've obviously purposely isolated something along their left flank, the right side of DC United, because the way they're continually attacking down that side with Yearwood, with Stroud, Fernandez joining in to add an advantage out there as well. And that driven ball from that end line towards that penalty spot has become very dangerous for Red Bulls. They just didn't have a runner there last time. They had the Caceres chance, they had the Yearwood chance.
Well, I think if you're the Red Bulls right now, if you don't score for some reason in this first half, you will be kicking yourselves, because they've certainly been the more impressive team in the opening 25 minutes.
I was just about to say the same thing. I agree 100%. I think this game is cruel sometimes, where you feel like you're playing on the front foot. You feel like you've got the rhythm and the momentum. And sometimes teams can just navigate and weather that storm. And teams, DC United, they're going to continue to try to find a little bit more balance in the buildup. And as you mentioned, they're going to be disappointed that they haven't found one thus far. And these games are always tight, and you need that final detail that separates you from the opponent. And unfortunately, saying that you're carrying momentum and you're playing on the front foot doesn't change the scoreline at 0-0.
Well, Reyes is slow to get up. It's a player that is first in the MLS in interceptions right now, and is a big part of what Red Bulls do defensively. One of those starters who is getting the start today in this Open Cup game, and that's something that is a stuff of nightmares for Lesane and company.
You can see Reyes getting clipped behind from Fletcher. This back line for New York Red Bulls has done a terrific job thus far, absorbing pressure when they need to absorb and attacking the space when they can have that space to attack. And that's always vital when you have a team that presses the way New York Red Bulls do. And you can see it with the runs in behind by DC United. They're not finding a lot of success in behind.
Seconds here. Come on, Cal. Play. Good time again.
from Harper. Looking to get it back now. Reyes comes up. Seems good to go. Nice feed to Barlow. Using that wing. Service in! The finish! It's Fernandez! Omir Fernandez comes racing in, and the Red Bulls are on the board.
And we were just talking about how momentum doesn't necessarily change the scoreline, but New York Red Bulls too, using that momentum, winning the ball higher up the field. Tremendous step here by Reyes. And then I was just about to say that New York Red Bulls, on top of playing with urgency in the final third, they have been decisive. And you see that ball in from Reyes, you see the layoff out wide, you see the entry runs, the services. They've had a tremendous start. They've carried that energy throughout thus far. And that's the goal that they're gonna feel they deserved here in the 29th minute.
Well, the smoke is up and celebration starts. Red Bulls are the first to strike. Harper wants another for DC United, looking for that response. Again, they seem rattled by this press. It's been tight, obviously limited spaces, and that's how the Red Bulls want it to be, but it's frazzling DC United. Here they come though, looking for that response. Start, stop. Fernandez back to play some defense, cross put on, and that was out anyway, but Mara touched.
This is going to be a corner that DC United can be very opportunistic, get really good numbers forward.
Well, this is exactly what you would want if you're DC United. You just gave up a goal, now you have a set piece. See what they can make of it. Approaching a half an hour into this game. This one up, lands in the 6, no one there. There's a shot put on, it's blocked down. Green with the look there from the back line.
Earn another corner here. They go out swinger, near post. And the difficult thing for goalkeepers in this situation is that second ball. Green knows he has a lot of traffic in front of Mara.
A little bit of pushing and shoving going on, and now we'll get the reset. Some pace of that one, swatted out. And we'll do it for the third time. Mara with that knock.
Does look like the referees have said it came off. Heinz Ike right there at the end for DC United. But two really good looks. First near post, far post, and then far post.
Yeah, I thought Mara touched that. I guess he did not. So we'll won't get that third corner.
Now let's see how Red Bulls respond to being a goal up. Sometimes when you get a goal that you feel like you've earned and you deserve, you take the foot off the gas a little bit and you stop playing with that decisiveness. You stop playing with that urgency because you may be concerned over turnovers and getting scored on, but I think that's where they are where they're at right now because of the urgency, because of the decisiveness. And that was something when we spoke with DC United earlier this week. They knew they had to be the ones that were decisive because of the press, for Red Bulls.
Oh, Yearwood commits that foul through the air. Looks like everyone's all right.
Yearwood's a player for Red Bulls that has been very active. Getting underneath Sargis there.
From Bono. Strong header. Hopkins. Durkin. There's a chance for DC United. Settled in the 18. For Hopkins, there's a shot, and it's off a defender and into the crowd. Otherwise, that was straight to net.
And this is going to be the third corner within the last few minutes for DC United, and you've gotten two looks, one on each side. The third take here, usually you already have an idea of how they set up, the areas they like to cover.
Lands for Green again. Hurtado can't square. Green pokes it back. Red Bulls want to go. Counter chance. Harper looking for Yearwood. Not quite. Behind him. Edelman. Fernandez again just scored. 28th minute. Things have opened up in this game since then. DC United, they didn't have a choice.
Yeah, and that's why that phrase, goals change games, and not just from Red Bulls being up 1-0, but it really, as you mentioned, it does change the dynamic and the approach of DC United. I mean, they've got to start finding a bit more going forward, whether it's hold-up play, allowing numbers to get in, or you see New York Red Bulls finding a lot of success in these big switches from side to side, really bypassing a lot of different seams.
Fernandez, shifty there, it slips through, almost.
And it's that left side again, that right side for DC United, that left flank for Red Bulls. They just continue to find a lot of success getting really deep along the end line here and then just driving that ball across. And good things typically happen when you put a ball in that location, because you have a set of 4 or 5 defenders for DC United facing their own goal. So whether it's deflected off one of their players or your own teammate gets on the end of it, and somehow that ball makes it all the way through with nobody deflecting into the back of the net.
Everyone jockeying for the ball here. And we're going to get a whistle and potentially a card. First one of the game. That's going to go against Hurtado.
Yeah, you can just see that right cleat, studs exposed. He's catching Fernandez there. For DC United, it's not going to be a team that's in any sort of panic. I think the one thing that they've got to get corrected is obviously the turnovers that they have within the phases of the build. But this is a team that was on a 2-game stretch, really a 3-game stretch, where they had scored 7 goals, lost this past Saturday 2-1 to Cincinnati. So looking for that bounce back, but we talked about Red Bulls struggling to find the back of the net towards the bottom of the conference or the league in goals scored.
Here's a chance, Hurtado. Reyes has been so good today. He's been everywhere on the pitch.
He has, both on and off the ball defensively, getting shifted over, providing really good balance and good support. And then on the ball, I'm just gonna keep using the word decisive because that's just what he's been, and really throughout the field for Red Bulls. But Reyes, whenever you can have a defender and a defensive player from those deeper positions be really decisive and play those entry balls that eliminate a number of DC United defenders with one ball, it's so important.
Yeah, he was the link on the goal. Yearwood on the right side this time, pushed to that corner, hounded by Green. Stay with the Red Bulls.
And a lot of coaches that you talk to that talk about the offensive side, the attacking side, it's all about those entry passes. And that's where even just that one that led to this throw-in for Red Bulls, that one from Reyes, it's the intent behind those entry passes. They really spark the attack. They really trigger all the runs and the layers that join.
That one too, Reyes. Doesn't quite handle Tolkien's head this time. Edelman trying to possess. Regroup here for DC United. Not as strong of a clear from Bono as they would like. Stretching for it. You could hear DC United coaching staff wanting them to move a little quicker.
Yeah, they'd love to find the equalizer here before the first half. Whereas on the other side, Red Bulls would love to find a second one before the first half ends, because when you look at the teams playing this midweek fixture while in the middle of regular season as well, you talk about balancing the squad rotation, players that played heavy minutes on a Saturday or a Sunday, having to play on a Tuesday game. And Troy Lassane talked about that, was keeping those players that did play heavy minutes this past weekend prepared to impact this game. So I think the next goal is really going to change the dynamic between that squad rotation and what the substitution patterns look like.
Bayside moves it wide. Hopkins off his right foot, and that one curls nearly out. Nearly a corner, but at the last second, ends up being a goal kick off DC United.
And other than a few spells here and there for DC United in the defensive half of Red Bulls, they have really found a lot of success implementing the press, and it's sustainable. I was mentioning early on that 15-minute, 20-minute mark. That's where you see sometimes a lot of changes in terms of teams being able to figure out that press and being able to switch the field, being able to find different spaces. But DC United has not been able to, and that's just credit to what Red Bulls is doing. They're screening the right passes, taking away the right lanes, and then when you do get broken in some of those moments, you're still guiding the opponent into the space that you're okay with defending.
In Montclair, New Jersey, Red Bulls, DC United, MLS matchup in the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. It is a knockout tournament. From Harper up, Bono has it. A good run there from Barlow.
You mentioned it just a few minutes ago. The game that Reyes is having right now, I mean, even that service starts with Reyes winning the ball higher up the field.
Yeah, a lot of MLS sides are approaching this tournament with the view, I think, of, at this point, a chance to figure out the sort of depth that they have over the course of the season. But they are sprinkling in some starters here and there, and I think the Red Bulls more so than anybody because, again, at this point, they just want to string together some wins. It's Lassane's first chance to really show what he can do as the head coach, and all of that's in play right now.
Yeah, there's no question that when you talk to coaches in preparation for all these matches, how important this tournament is to these teams and these organizations. Anytime you're playing for a trophy, especially the US Open Cup. But you also start to understand the reality of a lot of these teams just played 2 days ago in the MLS regular season. They have another regular season fixture on Saturday or Sunday, and it's just that balance between determining who's available, who played heavy minutes, and as you mentioned, who can step in and prove that they either deserve more minutes or can play a vital role for this team and their organizations throughout the rest of the regular season. And for Troy Lassane, he's had to make those decisions really quickly.
Well, it's dark here in New Jersey all of a sudden. Oh, you just saw DC United on the other side with a chance to really build something and then whiffed there from DeHome. Nothing's really gone their way, and yet they're only down a goal, so there's something to build on for Wayne Rooney's side. Just have 45 minutes to do so. Hurtado looking to push through the defense. And gets taken down. He's the one actually called for that foul as he tries to barrel through unsuccessfully against Endom. Well, that's going to do it for the first 45 minutes. We saw that one strike on a good sequence of passing for the Red Bulls. Fernandez is the one to score, and at the moment, that's the difference. Red Bulls up on DC United.
Yeah, it was an inspiring first half for New York Red Bulls in that first 45. You talk about the high press, but it's been sustainable. It's made play predictable. It's allowed those support defenders in those second and third layers to know and expect what's coming, and they've picked up the ball higher up the field and obviously been really decisive in the final third, and it's paid dividends with them being up 1-0.
Well, like we said, it's 1-0. We'll take a break here. We'll have scores around this Open Cup schedule as well for tomorrow and highlights in a bit.
Your New York Red Bulls return home to Red Bull Arena for some MLS regular season action Saturday, May 13th to take on New York City FC in the Hudson River Derby at 7:30 p.m. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive our Derby t-shirt giveaway. Ticketmaster is the club's official ticketing partner, and you can secure your seats to the match by visiting NewYorkRedBulls.com/tickets.
I can't be killing my casket, make sure I die with a 10. It's part of the brand. I know that I came with a slide from left to right, but now I don't want to dance. Can I depend on a man? I slide some bread in the jam. It's just who I am. Plus, I'm just waving at us from the window. They don't even come on the plane when we land. Anyone else will retire, but I'm not content. I want to bury these like 20 feet down so no one can find them again. It's gotta be scary to witness who carry these around in both of my hands. They stay inviting me over, they say they got I get there and then it's just there. I wish from the point of sending groceries instead. Everything going, living the house, got shut for me for bed. Can you imagine what they see? I went from the road to South Carolina, the first I bring it shattered. I'm climbing, I don't need a ladder. Me here, it's me chopper. I snap back, you the snapper. Shut up, but I anger. Walking the bees, looking so hard and bottom trapping backyard. I didn't even know my boyard. I just saw me in bank card. Remember me from courtyard. I came from trap at night. Trouble goes in the trap. Trying to spell the facts. Yeah. I can't sound like I got juice in the bag. My shooters think it's tight.
Hey Barry, summer soccer camp season will be here soon. Take advantage of low camp pricing and sign your child up for summer's best soccer experience today. Our proven curriculum is the best way for your child to continue their soccer development while having fun and making new friends. Visit NewYorkRedBulls.com to register. Homegrown minutes start here.
Enough of my plans. Now you don't pay me to tell you just do it. They pay me to show you I do it again. Huh? Yeah. I'm in control of the ball. No, I'm to get high. Let me just go pop. Crib is over the top. The whip is over the top. I thought about letting her go. I wasn't over the top.
Welcome back here, Montclair, New Jersey. The Red Bulls up on DC United in the round of 32 after 45 minutes of play here in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Again, alongside Eric Dobransky, I'm Maura Sheridan. And, you know, there's a lot going on with the Open Cup. There's 2 days of it here, so let's take a look at the scores from around the Open Cup at the moment. There's some later games as well on the West Coast, but not a ton of scoring, and it looks like everything's pretty close at the moment. And I think that Sacramento Republic Colorado Rapids game is going to be interesting.
Yeah, these 10:30 matchups are going to be really fascinating. Obviously, you have the 8:30 Minnesota United and Philadelphia Union, which will be fantastic as well. I think right now you look at the New England Revolution and Pittsburgh Riverhounds. That's going to be a game going into the second half. Can New England find a goal, equalize? And then that Charlotte FC Orlando City game will be intriguing until the end as well.
It's surprising because New England's having a really good season in the MLS, and right now losing to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And this is Wednesday, so a whole slew of games tomorrow as well. Just, you know, what's the most fun about this is the possibility for some cup sets.
It is, and I think the matchups, sometimes the matchups that you get, I mean, obviously 2 USL sides facing off tomorrow night in Birmingham Legion and Memphis 901. And then Loudoun United, what a run they've been on here in the Open Cup, playing the Columbus Crew. Houston Dynamo Sporting KC, I think that's another one for 2 teams that are traditionally really have significant success here in the U.S. Open Cup is going to be a fun one as well.
You got that little side dish, little coleslaw there, Austin FC and New Mexico United. Obviously, that's the one that Hossein has the connection to, New Mexico United. Well, let's take a look at the highlights from this one. Again, first 45 minutes, and from the jump, the Red Bulls looked in control.
Yeah, from the start, a lot of energy, a lot of urgency, and just decisive going forward with that positive play. And for DC United, just unable to figure out how to play through the press, whether that's going to be going inside out or outside in for them in the build. And it's a lot of it for Red Bulls has been from their left side, DC United's right side, getting to that end line, finding that cross that comes along that penalty kick spot. You see Yearwood there lurking, and then unable to finish there by Barlow, just getting it stuck underneath his feet. And then it was just turnovers as well for DC United, just not able to find that open player, that open space, and it just created them a lot of havoc and a lot of chaos. And then Reyes, who's had a tremendous first half, wins this ball higher up the field. Ball gets played wide to Barlow. Tremendous service and a really good run there by Fernandez, who's just able to guide that into the back of the net. And then we saw a few minutes of DC United collecting some corner kicks. They went on about 3 in about a 5-minute span, 2 of them being pretty dangerous and having some second chance opportunities. But it was New York Red Bulls again. This ball from Fernandez getting all the way across the face of goal inside the 6-yard box of Bono, and unable to get a touch on it to put in the back of the net. And as we see the stats, DC United having the possession numbers, but I think a lot of it is New York Red Bulls just winning the ball higher up the field and not necessarily having to possess, because they're winning it 35, 40 yards away from frame, and they're just able to go. And then the shot disparity 6-2 as well.
Yeah, we'll see what DC United and Wayne Rooney decide to do here in the second 45 minutes. But again, this is looking like a little bit of deja vu for them on the road against New York. Lost 3-0 in the Open Cup last year in this very round. They don't want to fall to the same fate.
And I think what's going to be important for Red Bulls is, can you keep a clean sheet? Can you keep DC United off the board? What do you look like defensively here in this first 45, in the second 45? That sustained pressure was just terrific from Red Bulls, and they really did it picking and choosing their moments on where they sent really high numbers and high volume. And I think for Troy Lesane and his side, you listened to the press conference yesterday with head of sport Jochen Schneider yesterday and Troy Lesane, and they were praising Troy's ability to inspire. He's a good leader, developer, and the energy he brings. And this is a team that after that first half, they have to be buzzing into this second half. So for DC United, you've got to be able to match that and really find a way to play on that front foot from the jump here in the start of the second half.
Well, 2 subs for the Red Bulls at the break. And I think most notably here is that Reyes, his day is done. We were talking about how well he played, but it's going to be Corey Burke the rest of the way here for the Red Bulls. Camarona has also come in, and Harper has been taken out. So those are the 2 changes here for the Red Bulls. DC United just didn't travel with a big roster, so they don't have that many options.
And from talking to a lot of coaches this week, it did sound like limited changes were was the preferable route, and that's why we talked about, you know, the possibility of DC United trying to find that equalizer in the first half, and Red Bulls really launching an attack to find that second goal. And I think this is a game that is definitely on pace to see another goal. I think whether it's for DC United or New York Red Bulls, you're gonna want to be the team that finds that next one, and I think that's going to be a big factor in how this matchup continues to play out.
Fernandez again scored in the 28th minute. Off to Burke. Settles and loses it. Burke's down in some pain right now, but DC United is going to possess. Looks like we're going to get a whistle to stop just because he's right in the middle of everything. Again, Burke just came in moments ago.
Taking that push from behind there. Really looks like falling awkwardly on that left ankle.
Bono. Souvenir there in the crowd. Just as you think that they've got some momentum, DC United gives it away at Sargis that time around.
Really what you see here in the initial minutes here in the second half is DC United winning the ball higher up the field, which is not what they were able to do in the first half. So positive from that standpoint, but just as you mentioned, as soon as they connect 2-3 passes, the next one gets dispossessed and they're caught chasing a bit again. And I think for them, it's going to be a bit of what New York Red Bulls did throughout that first half, was that decisiveness. As that ball travels, already having the decision made. And then on top of that, the execution portion of it.
Mara. Well, that time the pressure from DC United just frazzled the Red Bulls a little bit. They get it right back. Berg taps it out with Green.
And the other element that always fascinates us coming into these tournament format matchups and two MLS squads is the scenarios that present themselves. We talked about the extra time. We talked about the penalty kicks, that if these games are tied, it's no golden goal. It's a full 30 minutes, and then if you're still tied, you're going to penalty kicks. But it's also scenarios like this that you can't really replicate these in training. You could talk about them, but it's the goal up, goal down scenarios.
Well, here comes the Red Bulls on the attack. Carmona takes a shot and is stopped by Bono. Just trying to tuck it in the corner.
And it's those scenarios, especially with the squad rotation that you have, getting everybody on the same page. What are we looking to do if we're a goal down with 5 minutes or less, or 10 minutes or less? Are we changing shape? Are we changing the way we play?
Fernandez has been an issue, and it's just missed there. Oh, that would have been goal number 2. Burke had his eye on the prize, just missed it.
Again, really good activity for New York Red Bulls. Carmona driving to the left, taking the defender out of the play, putting it on the right foot. And here the ball across by Fernandez. Who, as you mentioned, has been, other than the goal, has still been very active in this matchup.
Tolkien stretching out for it. Hurtado, that one tackled. It's gonna still be with DC United. Again, Mara hasn't been asked to make a really challenging save in this game, whereas Bono, on the other hand, has definitely been asked to do that. From Hopkins, Tolkien clears. Fletcher, a little combo with Green, doesn't quite work out. Asad. Mara can just control.
With as rapid as New York Red Bulls has played within the final third, they will gladly take moments like this where they can just recycle, as you heard them talk about, and reset a number of times. Take the air out of the ball, just keep possession.
Tolkien, no one behind him. Mara's out, combines with Tolkien, an academy product, with the Red Bulls.
Come on, Tom! Come on, Tom! Corey, come on, Corey!
Just can't catch a break.
Next side! Next side!
And DC United, a better record in the regular season than the Red Bulls, and they're in 8th place, which is really middle of the pack in the Eastern Conference, but they have 4 wins compared to just the 1 win for the Red Bulls. Obviously, these knockout tournaments, though, provide a different look from teams, a little bit more hunger, and I think for the Red Bulls, they have a lot to play for at the moment. Well, we got a player down for New York.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. This is a game that New York Red Bulls can really use as a launching pad, not only to continue a run into the Open Cup, but with the coaching change, really the quick turnaround. But then a team that is not only playing a rival in DC United, but hosting a rival in New York City, you know, this weekend.
Yeah, that's a big game, and what a introduction for Lassane as the new head coach to have to go up against a true rival in New York City. But DC United definitely is one as well, and these two teams will meet over the course of the regular season. DeHome spins, service up, header broken up there by Tolkien.
Under control. Step out. Us.
Fletcher
Come on.
uses Heinzeich. Not a foul against DC United. DeHome gets whistled for that one, and it's right back with the Red Bulls. One goal, it was Fernandez in the 28th minute, came from a good, again, build-up sequence of passing from the Red Bulls to create that lone score. DC United hasn't had much going at halftime. They had just 2 shots. Bono. Tardis. We saw Burke and Carmona both come in, the 2 changes for the Red Bulls, and fit in pretty nicely. They both had chances. Carmona just missed, trying to tuck it in the corner, and then is kind of whiffed at the end for Burke. But they've both been in the right spots to get goal number 2. Fresh legs here, Montclair, New Jersey. Fernandez doesn't need fresh legs. He's just been running all over the pitch, causing mayhem today. They don't have much of an answer, a little give and go action. Stroud surveys, takes it himself into the 18, dishes it off, and that one missed by Burke. Collects, wants a second chance, denied. At it again though. Yearwood tries to juke out the defense, and he runs out of space.
And when they go back and rewatch this match, they're going to be pleased with the amount of opportunities they're creating, but they're going to look at some of these as misfiring. As you see Burke there on the ball, you've seen it a couple times in the first half as well. A couple really good services across the face of goal, just unable to connect.
Yeah, you got to put that on frame, especially against, you know, this goalkeeper that we've seen have a pretty good game. It's going to need a more challenging look than that one, obviously.
Yeah, we saw Caceres in the first half sail one over the crossbar. Obviously, the one that got stuck underneath the foot of Barlow.
Come here, come on. Across the 2.
And then we've seen 2 really good chances across meant for Burke. First one, Burke wasn't able to get on it. Ball that went a little behind him, and then there, just unable to get one on frame.
Yeah, the flanks, the width has been used better than the Red Bulls, or by the Red Bulls today, as it appears to be Burke who's in some pain right now.
Now it looks like that the opposite foot of that original injury looked like that left ankle earlier on when he slipped. Seen him be very influential, like you said, with Carmona already having an opportunity, Burke as well. So 2 changes for Troy Lassane that have already influenced the match in terms of some of the created opportunities.
But it is kind of one of those things that if you don't get the second goal, you're leaving things up to, you know, potential chaos at the end from DC United. And also, this has been a trend for them, which is that they're not having the high-scoring, you know, season that they would want to have. We mentioned the fact that they only have 7 goals across 11 games in regular season play, and that's second worst in the MLS right now. And that was a main point, is that they need to finish the chances created. Something they're looking to do here in the second half.
Well, and I think to your point as well, for Red Bulls, they're looking to flip the script on both sides of the ball and both boxes. We talked about their lack of scoring with only the 7 goals this season, sitting towards the bottom of the league in goals scored. But this is also a team defensively that hasn't kept a clean sheet in 9 matches.
Yeah, when you're not scoring, that actually plays a huge part in the result.
And to your point, if you can't find that second goal, you just add the stress to having to absorb some of that late pressure that you're gonna inevitably see for a team that's gonna play with that desperation, because in a knockout round scenario like this, losing 2-0 is the same as losing 1-0, you're going home. So you can throw numbers there forward and really cause as much chaos as you can.
Well, we've got roughly a half an hour to go here in Montclair, New Jersey. Great crowd in attendance, even though the Red Bulls aren't playing at their normal arena. Just trying to swim around, and we're gonna get a call. It's gonna go against New York. DC United will get possession here.
Good creativity there, but held up.
Nice leading header. Fletcher wide, poked out. Now boxed out. Edelman draws the foul. Some frustration there for DC United.
And we've seen Red Bulls be really effective, as we mentioned, in those wide channels, those wide areas. I think you also have to credit their 1v1 defending and some of the moments where they're caught isolated 1 versus 1 in those deeper areas. They've been able to minimize the damage, whether it's poking the ball free or really timely tackle.
Yeah, Endom, who's been really the last line of defense, obviously besides the keeper, has been good of just, getting in front of everything and disrupting, making it difficult for DC to make that final pass. Just a hold up here is Bono. Not sure if he got a new soccer ball or what. Guess a little deflate gate here in Open Cup, perhaps. Don't want to start rumors, so just kidding.
Thought we were past this.
Yeah. I don't want to revisit. Just trying to evade the pressure. It's difficult bouncing around, and now it's with Red Bulls. Barlow stretching out for it, can't quite corral it in. They'll get another opportunity here, approaching the attacking third.
You have seen DC United be a bit more aggressive playing forward, playing through the lines. Red Bulls a bit more passive than they were in the first half, but still picking and choosing those moments. We talked about those 2 services from Fernandez.
Hopkins takes it himself. Here's an opportunity for DC. Off the cross, denied. The rebound. Boy, that landed right in the 6. Mera, lucky there. No one there to tap it home. Still on the attack. Header wide. Hurtado doesn't get a fantastic look.
And that's a really good sequence by DC United. Finding moments where they can get turned, they can play into that, they can slip a ball in. Here, Hopkins finding that wide ball to Dahome. Just unfortunately for DC United, nobody there to pick up the ball that Mera spills. But it also shows the commitment in numbers defensively for New York Red Bulls. They had 6 players around the box. That's going to be something for DC United to build upon. Keep growing into this second half.
Bono just chips it. Has to get back into position. Caceres gets turned around. Two players go tumbling over. Durkin in some space. A pass off to Hopkins. Well, we're going to see Donovan Hines come in. Heinzek will come out. Then we'll also see Ruan come in. Hurtado come out. Those are your changes for DC United. Again, traveling with a pretty thin roster. Ruan's a player, has 2 assists over the course of the regular season. Somebody that can create regular part of the starting rotation for DC United.
That's that typical timing that you do see some changes, especially that 15-20 minute mark where you can gauge the rhythm and the tempo of the match and then allow those substitutes to influence the game with still a good portion of the second half left. This is going to be a set piece and a free kick that DC United is going to have to stay switched on for, because they've done a good job of building back into this match, finding a couple opportunities. The last thing you want to do is give up and create a chance for Red Bulls here on this set piece.
Sarkis going to get that yellow card. He's a second player for DC United, but Hurtado was just subbed out. We'll see what Red Bulls can build from this opportunity. Pretty much a short corner for them. Some pace towards that near post, and it's low though. Still in the 18. No one has it. Tolkien blazing forward. Here's an opportunity. That one too heavy. Luckily, Edelman's there.
Touch from Fletcher just got away.
Must win to move on. Round of 32. This is where it ended for DC United last year. For the Red Bulls, into the semifinals, fell short in a game against Orlando City. It's a very lopsided score. Orlando City, of course, would go on to win it all. In the Open Cup, we had a Sacramento Republic make it all the way. Just cup set after cup set in that tournament. They fell short against Orlando City, but a very fun tournament last year. We'll see if we'll get some more cup sets in this one. And look, I know it's not truly a cup set when an MLS team beats another MLS team, but you know, Red Bulls coming in, they're playing very aggressively. They could pull this off, maybe a bit surprising against DC United.
Yeah, each team in different scenarios within the MLS regular season. When you talk about cup sets, Pittsburgh still leading New England Revolution 1-0. It does look like Burke is down again.
So Burke's out. Dylan Nealis is going to come in. Nealis is also part of the typical starting rotation, and his brother Sean typically captains this team, not available for selection today.
This has got to be frustrating for Burke, unable to continue after being subbed on at half. Really, as we mentioned with Carmona and Burke, they did influence right away. As you can see the note card of different changes getting passed around.
Yeah, Stroud gonna have his team come in, meet to discuss what Lassane just sent out. Like you said, Burke done, Nealis in. And Nealis, 24, played in 8 games, 5 starts, no goals or assists, but has taken 7 shots this year for the Red Bulls in his 2nd season. Well, we're going to get a corner here for DC United. That happened quickly after the sub. Trying to catch this Red Bulls team off guard a little bit.
Come on, Tom! Come on!
Asad. Ready to go. Searching for that equalizer. Header lands. Here's a shot. It's too high. What a look there. DeHome just can't finish.
It's always that opportunity after first contact. You see them go near post. And Ruhan just sending it over the bar. Again, that's another one where it's already coming in with a lot of pace, and he knows it. You can see by his body language right now that all he had to do was really place it, guide it. And we've said it a number of times with the other side with Bono, is put Mira in a situation where he's got to make a save as well.
Yeah. Again, Ruan on that look. Just subbed in.
See there, Troy Lassane jotting down some notes. And we've harped on the challenges that really both these teams face in the quick turnaround, but obviously New York Red Bulls with the coaching change as well. But in Troy Lassane, you have somebody that has experienced and navigated a number of US Open Cup runs, whether it's as a player or as a coach, but obviously most recently as the coach for New Mexico United, a USL Championship side. And it's a 2019 run for New Mexico United that required 2 PK shootouts, so advancing on 2 penalty kick shootouts, and 2 games where they won in extra time. So that's the ability to really coach in those tighter matchups, those 1-0 games, those 1-1 games, those games where you need a little different of a look, that final detail sometimes. So this is going to be a Red Bulls side that's going to really make it tough to break them down. I think that corner and that unfortunate miss by Ruan is going to be one for DC United that they're going to look back on. Still plenty of time, but that was a tremendous look right off the substitution.
There's more US Open Cup action tomorrow night. 8 games will be streamed across Bleacher Report platforms, CBS Golazo Network, and on the US Soccer YouTube channel. Visit usopencup.com for the full schedule and links to watch all of the action. Carmona. Bono, too close for comfort there as Yearwood was lurking.
As we see the scores there, Inter Miami advancing on a 1-0 win over Charleston Battery. Interesting Miami Classico with Inter Miami and Miami FC. Game that went 1-0, Miami FC in the 2nd minute. And then went 1-1 late, went to extra time. Miami FC found the 2nd goal to go up 2-1, and then Inter Miami finding the equalizer 2-2, and then going to penalty kicks where Inter Miami advanced. Now they see themselves moving on to the round of 16. And then Charlotte found a goal in the 70th minute to advance over Orlando City as well.
Yeah, so that means there's no repeat for Orlando City here in the Open Cup, and we will have a new champion crowned, which is kind of exciting to see. We've got 15 minutes left in this one, DC United and New York Red Bulls. Again, as it stands, the game winner is that goal from Fernandez in the 28th minute, the assist from Barlow. Now we still have plenty of time for that to change. DC United has had some looks, but as previously outlined, they have not tested Mera as much as they could. Ron just most recently sailed it over the crossbar. Sargis punching up for Ruan. Tolkien's there first. Carmona. Middle of the pitch now with Edelman.
DC United still struggling to really get a footing into this game and find a rhythm.
Carmona looking to slip the D. Nice feed. There's a knock, but no call.
This is where DC United's going to want to catch the Red Bulls.
Just not on the same page. And then the Red Bulls aren't either. Hopkins, full 360 down on the pitch. Has it again, just 18 years old. He's been pretty solid for DC United. He's trying to create, though, a lot by himself.
And again, I'm still going to highlight the fact that DC United is continuing to win this ball higher up the field, which they did not have a lot of moments in the first half, as we see the foul on Stroud.
Yes, Stroud goes down hard on that one, soaring through the air, and we'll see a yellow come out. Another look at this one, just undercut. Akinambani, who we haven't talked about too much with that yellow, right in that center of the defense for DC United. He's just 16 years old.
And another moment for Red Bulls to take air out of the ball and just see this game out just a bit longer.
Emil Shapiro-Thompson will come in for the Red Bulls. Yearwood's out. Coming up. Looks like Yearwood's definitely still on there. All right, here's that change. So Shapiro-Thompson in, Yearwood's out. Putting a nice game Yearwood did. Lots of successful runs, and his day is done. Just some fresh legs to maybe try to close the deal with a second goal here.
Yeah, his influence faded a bit here in the second half. He was really active him and Fernandez together in that first half were asking a lot of different questions of that DC United back line. But when you press the way that Red Bulls do, you are asking that front line to initiate a lot of those moments and making that play predictable and guiding DC United into various spaces, because it's your role to make it known for the second defender, third defender, those support defenders to know where that ball is going to be played. So it's a lot of work. So we see the change here.
DC United still very much in this game, but not if they can't complete a pass in the final third.
And I mentioned it earlier, Red Bulls misfiring in the final third in front of goal. And for DC United, just unable to connect in that middle third, whether it's just not being decisive, what kind of ball they want to play in, whether it's a ball in behind or to feet.
Foul, good spot here for DC United as the home goes down.
And as you mentioned, in a really good position for DC United. When you're struggling to connect and find that fluidity building through the phases, set pieces this late in the game are a way where you could really flip a game.
Mara getting set for the Red Bulls. DC United looking to bring us level. Initial shot, way high. That's not what you want.
And not even giving teammates the opportunity to crash on frame and see if Mara spills one.
Well, Elias Manuel's going to come in. It looks like Lassane wants a final word with him before he comes in to take out Barlow.
And Barlow, another player with a solid match. He maybe wasn't so influential on the ball. He had a couple moments. Obviously, he had that service to Fernandez for the goal in the first half, but I think he really influenced this match in the way he pressed with Yearwood.
Also just stretched the defense the way that he was playing. Caceres, Token, pressure coming from Hopkins. Uses Mara behind him. Once again, DC United being asked to go quickly. Ruan off the toss. Durkin behind him. Tries a little nutmeg, does not work. Tolkien all the way to the midfield. You can see everybody forward for DC United. Final minutes of this game.
This has been a really committed performance by New York Red Bulls, whether it's getting numbers behind the ball in those moments that they get broken from that press, or committing numbers when they do regain possession. And you could see it throughout. They've frustrated DC United.
The home is going to come out. Lewis O'Brien will replace him.
Mentioned in the open for New York Red Bulls, it's almost a fresh start in a season when you have the U.S. Open Cup, because it's just a one-game elimination. There's no records involved. You just match up, and it's who takes the night and who performs. And I think for a group that has seen their fair of struggles thus far in the MLS regular season.
Cross turn, no shot.
This is a matchup that could really rejuvenate them and press that reset button.
Dangerous for Pines. Ruan gave it his all. Mara not in too much of a hurry. His team up 1-0.
You can't imagine that this match is going to see too much stoppage time added. He had the injury to Burke.
That was pretty much it in terms of time that could be added.
We've only really seen spurts of urgency from DC United, and as you mentioned, a lot of it coming from Hopkins, his ability to play make. And Fletcher is a player for DC United that was quite impactful, dropping in the first half, getting on the ball. He's been held pretty quiet here in the second half.
Lassane can taste his first victory as head coach with the Red Bulls. It's about 5 minutes away. You can see the leisurely approach here from Caceres and the Red Bulls.
These are these late game situations, up a goal. You can see Carmona drifting there, maybe going short. Sometimes you stretch a team like this, and then you get a player and a teammate that checks in. So you pretend to set up like you're going to go direct.
From Caceres, in the middle, Bono can't get it, and he clears it with his feet.
Or you go direct and try to find the second goal as well.
Caceres at it again. Loses it now. Strong tackle by Stroud. Stops the momentum.
And that's been all night. I mean, they've had timely tackles all over the field. That's disrupted some counterattacks, that have disrupted some dangerous sequences by DC United in the final third.
A little congested in the middle, finally some space. And that's way off.
There was no thought about it with Mara. He was going to see that ball out for a goal kick, because this definitely gives him the time to see out another 30+ seconds or so. Play this along the back. That really looked like a promising sequence from DC United.
Well, there's a chance. Bono, no. And cleared out by DC United, but NOL, who just came in, making some noise. He's another player that's, would often actually start games in regular season play.
Snuck in behind that DC United back line.
Fernandez to the corner.
This crowd gathering along this fence line, trying to urge their side to finish this last few minutes. See what we get in stoppage time as well.
Whipped out. still really stuck for DC United. They've got a little over 90 seconds. Stroud sails it up. Manuel. Bono collides with his own teammate there, and then Manuel.
Definitely gonna have to see DC United go a little long. A lot of these moments, gotta try to find the equalizer. As we mentioned, if you give up a second goal, doesn't matter. Really got to open up and go after this goal.
Hopkins. Nice move by Fletcher, tackled out again by the Red Bulls.
Fletcher just taking a few extra touches there, trying to drag in a second defender after he beat the first, but it really looked like they had good numbers in behind, and following it up with a foul on Stroud. And this only benefits New York Red Bulls because it allows them to slow the game down.
Now we're going to get 4 minutes of stoppage time, so a little bit longer than we thought. But DC United, I mean, they just haven't looked crisp at all. See if that changes with some urgency, knowing that they have a decent chunk. They get the equalizer and send us into extra time. Bono.
Yeah, there have been moments throughout the second half where it does seem like DC United has solved it and found a really good balance, but those moments became so fleeting, and again, the 1v1 tackling, the interventions, the screening of those final passes from New York Red Bulls has been so critical to keeping this 1-0 lead. For Troy Lassane and his side, if they're able to see this game out and advance, they're going to be really happy to do it in front of a crowd like they had tonight. You just never know, not typically playing in the stadium that they typically play in the regular season. Then with the changes and then the recent run of form, they've had really good support and good showing tonight.
And of course, they're hoping it carries on into the regular season and hoping to build off of this potential victory. Credit to the Red Bulls, they came out, they executed. They've looked good from the start. There wasn't really an extreme lull for them in this game.
No, you're absolutely right. It's been sustainable. I mean, the press hasn't been as frenetic as it was maybe in the first half, where they were really pouncing on a lot of opportunities, where they were creating numbers and a lot of numerical advantages. But you mentioned it in that first half, the momentum and the tempo in which they were playing at, it really deserved them a goal, and they hadn't had it just yet, and they just kept finding different moments, and then that ball played out wide to Barlow, and then the finish by Fernandez.
Stroud. Just playing some keep away now. Edelman as well. Nice move there. Push back from Nealis. From Nealis again. Flung up there for DC United. Mara off his chest and kind of hung up there for a second.
I was wondering where Mara was going to go with being that far outside of the box and collecting it.
And there's the final whistle. The Red Bulls take down DC United for the second straight year in the round of 32. Troy Lesesne has his first win at the helm of the Red Bulls after a rocky week. And they're moving on to the round of 16. DC United's journey in the Open Cup is over.
And Troy Lesesne taking over under difficult circumstances. Quick turnaround. And his team played inspired. They played committed. He really sustained the game plan and found that goal in the first half and did something they haven't done in 9 previous matches and held to a clean sheet.
Complete effort. Amir Fernandez is the hero with that 28th minute strike. Let's take a look at the highlights from this game. Again, started off with a strong performance in the first half from the Red Bulls, and they just kept on that journey.
And it was a bit more electric from the Red Bulls in the first 45. You saw a lot of these chances, finding the end line, getting these runners around the penalty kick spot, and you saw that one get stuck underneath the feet and just unable to put it away, but they just sustained it and just got good numbers, good commitment. But it did start a lot from DC United turnovers, and Reyes, who had a solid 45, was subbed out at halftime. Wins this ball, goes direct, plays positive, plugs it into feet, finds Barlow out on that right flank, and then Barlow that service into Fernandez. And then just a few opportunities for DC United. And I felt like their set pieces and their corners were fairly dangerous throughout the evening. And then Carmona substituted it in the second half, putting on his right foot, testing Bono. And then this was probably one of the more dangerous chances they had in the second half. And Ruan just sailing the ball over the crossbar. And just like the first half stats, DC United owning the possession numbers, but really nothing to come from it when they got into the final third. 0 shots on target, only 5 total, whereas for Red Bulls, 10 shots total, 4 on target, converting the 1 Fernandez goal. But as you mentioned just now, really complete performance by New York Red Bulls.
Well, a much-needed victory for the Red Bulls. Again, they are moving on to the round of 16. It's going to do it from us here in Montclair, New Jersey. Again, our final score, Red Bulls 1, DC United 0. They're moving on to the next round in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. From Eric Dobransky and our entire crew, I'm Maura Sheridan. Have a fantastic night, everyone.